Phil and Vanu back again with the Athlete Spine. Today we're going to talk about a rash of back strains that have kept a bunch of athletes out of play recently.
Yeah, I mean, we just went past the Midsummer Classic and we were watching the All-Star game, and we were also watching the drama unfold right before with players trying to decide if they were going to be playing or not. I mean, this was all headlined by Mike Trout, but he's not alone. Nolan Arenado with the Cardinals. We had Rafael Devers with the Red Sox. Jazz Chisholm with the Marlins, and Ranger Suarez with the Phillies as well. There are all these different players that have been battling very similar issues.
Yeah, and you know, the question is that a lot of you may have is what is a back strain? Back strains are really, really common injury. You know, I've had back strains. I know you've had back strains. This is something that plagues like 80% of the population over time, you know, and back injuries are really common, and back strains can really represent a whole host of different things. You know, it could be a muscle pull, could be an injury to a ligament, it could be a minor disc injury. Any of these things can cause the same symptoms, which is back pain, back spasms, stiffness, and this can really make it difficult for people to get back to play.
Yeah, and you know, people always ask us, you know, especially athletes themselves, like, what's going on? Why am I hurting? But ultimately, like, when can I get back? And you know, the $1 million question, you know, like you said at the end of the day, is sometimes we're just not sure what's going on, but the treatment remains the same for a lot of these symptoms, especially early on, right? Our goal is to try to rest, right? Try to avoid the activities that create that pain. Anti-inflammatory medications, that's a huge mainstay of treatment. And then physical therapy when the pain calms down a little bit, but ultimately the goal is that over the next few days, you're starting to feel a little bit better, but when can these players come back to play, right? That's the big question.
Yeah, so for these guys, you know, they are expensive, and so for them, you know, they're getting CT scans, they're getting MRIs, they're getting a $1 million workup, you know, to make sure there's nothing serious going on, so that they can get back to play as quickly as possible. For most of us, you know, if we have a back strain, most of those imaging studies aren't really necessary, you know, because most of these will just get better with time. And as long as there's nothing serious like a nerve problem where you're having weakness or numbness in the leg or things like that, most of these players can the good thing is that most players can get back to play within a few weeks, and what's required is that first that they have no pain with normal day-to-day activities, and then they regain their flexibility, and then they regain their strength, and then they can do sport-specific activity, and once they can do that, then they can get back to play.
Yeah, and that's why you see, you know, with these 5 players we mentioned, right, and they all play different positions. You got pitchers, you got infielders, you got outfielders, but you also see like a big spectrum as to how long they're out for. Some guys hit the IL, right? Some are day-to-day. Some are like Mike Trout, where every morning people are waiting to see if he's going to play, and that's sort of the nature of this type of injury. Right? Sometimes you bounce back faster, sometimes you don't, and you don't often have structural damage, but it can vary with each episode.
Yeah, so the hope is these guys are back on the field pretty soon and don't have any other setbacks as they try to get back. So, undoubtedly there are going to be more of these injuries, and we'll bring them to you as they come. So until next time, it's Phil and Vanu. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow us on Instagram. Take care, guys.